The film opens with Da Xiang sitting at a gambling house, locked in an intense game of mahjong. Determined to win at any cost, he teams up with his friend Dong Zi to cheat. Their plan falls apart when the couple they try to scam notices something off. The wife immediately reports them to Tiger, the owner of the gambling house, and Tiger delivers a brutal punishment by having both men buried alive in a nearby cemetery. What they do not know is that beneath the cemetery, a secret excavation is underway. A team of workers is digging for a meteor crater under the orders of Mr. Salmon. He pushes them to keep digging even though the ground above is unstable and could collapse at any moment. Eventually, the team uncovers the crater, but the victory is short-lived. A violent tremor shakes the entire site, forcing them to retreat. Up above, Da Xiang and Dong Zi feel the earth rumbling under them until the ground gives way. Both men fall and Da Xiang plunges straight into the meteor crater. In that moment, something inside him changes. His nerves feel supercharged, and several vital organs seem to surge with new energy. In that darkness, something new is born within him. This is Super Hollow Man. The next morning, Da Xiang wakes up to find a young woman named Xiao Qi at his door. She is there to get her door lock repaired because Da Xiang is known around the neighborhood as a skilled locksmith. He is instantly captivated by her beauty, so much that he gets a nosebleed on the spot. He tries to flirt, but Xiao Qi stays cold and walks away. Right after she leaves, Da Xiang feels his heart racing and suddenly notices something strange. His body begins to fade. When he looks in the mirror, his clothes are still visible, but his body has completely vanished. Panicked, he rushes to Dong Zi, who thinks he is seeing a ghost. Da Xiang explains what happened and realizes the transformation started after their fall the night before. He must have swallowed something from the crater that triggered this bizarre reaction. Now that Da Xiang is invisible, Dong Zi gets excited and tells him he could basically become a superhero who can do anything without being seen. Da Xiang embraces the idea and removes his clothes to stay fully hidden. Dong Zi then brings him back to Tiger's gambling house. While Dong Zi challenges Tiger to a game of billiards, Da Xiang secretly helps him win every shot. Da Xiang begins to test his powers in other places as well. He scares off a pickpocket in a public restroom and even helps a restroom attendant who slips on the wet floor. The problem is that when water splashes onto him, the shape of his body becomes partially visible. The women inside panic when they see a faint human outline, forcing Da Xiang to run. At the same time, Xiao Lin, one of Mr. Salmon's assistants, reviews CCTV footage and spots Da Xiang fleeing the bathhouse. He immediately realizes that Da Xiang must be the man who fell into the meteor crater and gained superhuman abilities from it. Once Mr. Salmon hears this, he orders Xiao Lin to capture Da Xiang as soon as possible. Meanwhile, Da Xiang decides to have a little fun with Tiger, who happens to be visiting Xiao Qi's house. Still invisible, he slams doors, switches on the fan and the TV, moves objects around, and even knocks over a vase. Tiger is confused but not frightened, and he eventually leaves after getting a call from one of his men. A moment later, Da Xiang is enjoying a piece of boiled corn when Xiao Qi walks in. She faints the instant she sees the corn floating in midair, completely unaware that Da Xiang is still invisible. He quickly carries her to her room and lays her down. Just as he gathers the courage to express his feelings, his body suddenly jolts and begins to reappear. Right then, Xiao Lin and Mr. Salmon's men arrive. They have used a serum to restore Xiao Lin's visibility, and now they capture Da Xiang and take him to their secret facility. Mr. Salmon is thrilled with what he sees and orders his assistant to collect blood samples for further research. Da Xiang is locked in a cell where he meets another invisible prisoner named Zhou Jian. Zhou Jian explains that he once studied with Mr. Salmon at Stanford. The two of them discovered alien bacteria that crashed to Earth with a meteor. The bacteria could alter human genes and even cure genetic diseases, so they built a hidden lab to study it, hoping to create a universal cure. When they found out the bacteria could turn a person invisible, Mr. Salmon insisted on human trials. He planned to inject himself, but Zhou Jian tried to stop him because the risks were still unknown. During the argument, Mr. Salmon injected Zhou Jian instead, turning him invisible. Zhou Jian panicked when he saw nothing in the mirror, while Mr. Salmon celebrated the success of the experiment. The team tried to reverse the effect with a red serum. Zhou Jian's body briefly returned to normal, but after a moment he vanished again, frustrating Mr. Salmon. Fearing the consequences of his unethical experiments, Zhou Jian destroyed all samples and formulas. Enraged and terrified of exposure, Mr. Salmon imprisoned him and continued searching for more alien bacteria at the meteor site, which had since become a cemetery. Daxiang wonders why Mr. Salmon still needs him if Zhou Jian already has the same power. Zhou Jian explains that he is permanently invisible while Daxiang's condition has stabilized, making him far more valuable for research. Mr. Salmon hopes to use Daxiang's blood to create a miracle cure. Elsewhere, Dongzi is approached by a secret agent named Smith who is tracking Daxiang. When Dongzi cannot provide any answers, he goes to Xiaoqi for help. She has no idea where Daxiang is either, and Smith ends up capturing both of them. Back at the facility, Daxiang relies on his locksmith skills to break open the lock on the cell door. He plans to slip out quietly, but Zhou Jian stops him. The hallways outside are crawling with guards, so Zhou Jian urges him to open the air vent instead. Their best chance is to escape through the ventilation system above them. They crawl through the ducts and make their way into the laboratory. Zhou Jian wants Daxiang to open a safe that holds all the research files, evidence that could expose Mr. Salmon's illegal experiments. Daxiang refuses. He wants no part in the conflict and only wants to get out alive. The disagreement quickly turns heated. Zhou Jian accuses him of thinking only of himself, while Daxiang blames Zhou Jian for allowing these experiments to happen in the first place. Their argument stops when footsteps approach the lab. Zhou Jian helps Daxiang climb back into the vents, then hides by removing his clothes to stay invisible. At the same time, Mr. Salmon enters the room with his assistant, Danya. While they are distracted, Daxiang accidentally makes a noise, putting both intruders at risk. Zhou Jian quickly drops a pen to divert attention, and Mr. Salmon grows suspicious. He sends Danya to inspect the holding cells. As soon as she leaves, Mr. Salmon grabs a fire extinguisher and sprays the room. The cloud of mist reveals Zhou Jian's invisible outline. A fight breaks out, and despite Zhou Jian's efforts, Mr. Salmon overpowers him and drives a blade into his neck. With the injury, Zhou Jian's body becomes visible again. Even in his final moments, he refuses to accept the cruelty behind Salmon's research. Daxiang watches in shock from the ventilation shaft. Zhou Jian sacrificed himself to protect him. Before Salmon can find him, Daxiang slips away and escapes into the night. On his way home, he runs into Smith, the secret agent who has been searching for him. Smith immediately recognizes him and knocks him unconscious, then drags him to Xiaoqi's house. After securing Daxiang, Smith calls his superior, who orders him to collect a blood sample. Smith realizes he left his briefcase at Dongzi's place, so he heads there. On the road, he accidentally hits Tiger with his car, sending him to the ground. Instead of apologizing, Smith threatens him and drives off. When Smith reaches Dongzi's shop, he bumps into Xiaolin and Mr. Salmon's men, who are also hunting for Daxiang. Meanwhile, Tiger visits Xiaoqi's house to drop off food. Daxiang and the others try to warn him, but Smith is covering their mouths, leaving them unable to speak. Tiger eventually leaves, only to run into Salmon's men outside. One of them knocks into him again, sending him tumbling to the ground. Eventually, Mr. Salmon's men track Daxiang to Xiaoqi's house. They storm in, capture him along with Dongzi and Xiaoqi, and drag them back to the secret facility. Dahuang is laid on an operating table, half-conscious, and drifts into a dream where he imagines marrying Xiaoqi. In his dream, everyone he knows is there, even Zhou Jian and Smith. Back in the real world, Smith bursts into the lab and opens fire on Mr. Salmon's team. He ends up in a fierce fight with Danya, who proves to be far more skilled than expected. While the two fight, Mr. Salmon tries to collect Daxiang's blood, but Smith manages to shoot him and force him to retreat. Daxiang snaps out of his daze and finally breaks free. He tells Dongzi and Xiaoqi to run. A newspaper nearby reminds him of Zhou Jian's final message, and Daxiang realizes he must end everything once and for all. Before he leaves, he tries to confess his feelings to Xiaoqi, but she suddenly kisses him first. That kiss tells him she feels the same way. The shock sends his heart racing, and his invisibility returns in full force. With his powers back, he walks straight into the fight. He strips off his clothes so the guards cannot track him, then takes them down one by one with ease. Meanwhile, Mr. Salmon grabs a disc containing all of his research data and attempts to flee. Daxiang intercepts him, knocks him down, and seizes the disc. When Daxiang bolts, Mr. Salmon chases blindly, unable to see him. He warns Danya that Daxiang has taken the data, but before they can regroup, Daxiang strikes again. sending Mr. Samad crashing into a pile of metal drums. One of the drums topples over and falls directly onto him, knocking him out cold. Danya and Smith notice the disc floating through the air and immediately stop fighting. Both of them chase after Dasyang. Danya jumps into a truck while Dasyang speeds away on a bicycle. When they reach the city, people stare in confusion as a riderless bike races down the street. Dasyang then leads his pursuers to Tiger's gambling house, where Tiger and his men are already waiting. Tiger wants payback for being hit earlier, and he is more than ready to help. In the end, Mr. Salmon's entire criminal operation is brought down. Strangely enough, Tiger gets all the credit because he is the one who physically captures Danya and the rest of the henchmen. With the danger finally over, Dasyang and Xiaoqi officially become a couple. When she kisses him again, his body gradually returns to normal. The film closes with a news broadcast announcing that Dasyang has agreed to work with the government to study his unique condition. He hopes the research will one day help humanity, fulfilling Zhou Jian's final wish. So the moral of the story is, if you ever fall into a meteor crater, at least try not to swallow the alien stuff inside it unless you want to end up naked, invisible, and chased by scientists who really need a hobby.